This is Mike Adams, author of Toilet Bowl Soup, and you're listening to Dope Sick Radio.
Dope Sick Radio, Dope Sick Radio, Dope Sick Radio, Dope Sick Radio.
All right, welcome to Layers Magazine presents Dope Sick Radio, episode number 5. You just heard Bleeding Through, the song For Love and Failing off of The Truth, released on Trustkill Records. Tonight we have a very special show for you. I'm bringing you an exclusive interview with independent author and publisher Mike Adams. He is the author and publisher of Toilet Bowl Soup. Here's a word from our sponsors. Right now we got Mike Adams, author of Toilet Bowl Soup. Now, Mike, for those who don't know, who is Mike Adams, where are you from, and what do you do?
My name is Mike Adams. I'm from Southern Indiana, and what do I do? Well, I have been known to write books. I've done a couple of movies, do music, anything I can get my hands on. I've been arrested for goat napping, public intox. What else you need? There's my biography right there.
That's perfect, man. We're going to touch upon every one of those little individual quirks of yours.
Okay.
Start out with the whole Toilet Bowl Soup thing. What's the book about, and what inspired you to put it out?
Okay, well, Toilet Bowl Soup kind of and happened like it was really just an accident, man. I had spent, I'd start writing material for that book back in 2005, and I just started writing just a bunch of shit, and finally someone was like, man, if you ever do put out another book, you need to put some of this shit in it, because, they thought it was phenomenal. I'm like, I thought about doing that. I thought about, releasing another book. Because I did a book back in 2003.
It was called When the Vomit Makes You Famous, correct?
That's correct. You've done your homework. Good show, man. So I did that, and, that it really didn't do much. I might have sold a couple copies to some neighbors and a grandmother, I think. There wasn't many copies sold, but it was there nonetheless. I toyed with the notion of releasing another book, and so I just started putting all this material together, which was a collection of short stories, and basically all the material was a documentary outlook, or how do you say it? I don't know. It was more documentary as to maybe a compiled blog of my life from 2005 until 2007, and dealing with all sorts of twisted shit. I mean, living here in Southern Indiana is, it's the armpit of America for a reason, and it's just all the vile degenerates of the world. They all live here, and they all live next to me, and they all enjoy coming around, and every place that I go, these people follow, and it's insane, and for me it's the norm, but for people living in LA and New York, they can't fucking believe it.
Now, you were doing a little book tour. Do you get that whole ethic of touring out the book because you have band experience?
In a sense, I really wanted to do more of a book tour in that way, and I did it to a degree. It's hard to get the people to listen to a new idea, and the new idea being take an author with a book out, available for sale, and put him in a situation where he's in a bar or a club with, punk bands, metal bands, country bands, whatever. People that are obviously going to be the market. These people just don't listen to music, They fucking read too. They fucking love good movies, and so that was my idea is to put it into venues where people that liked a lot of the same shit that I did would be able to see the book and talk to me, and that was real important too. I wanted to meet a lot of people, but it didn't go as far as I would have liked it to. It happened to a degree, but like I said, it was hard to get venues to understand a new idea.
Yeah, completely, absolutely. When I found out that you were actually doing a book tour and taking it to an approach where you were kind of, doing the appearances at bars and clubs during shows, I thought it was unique in itself. I'm coming from a publishing background, and I wonder how it would go over.
Right, and every time I did it, it went over famously. It was great. All the people were fantastic, and I met a lot of really cool people, and the bands that I did the shows with, they were always real fucking fun, and that I'd always get up on stage and do something with them. It was just a fun time, and it was just too bad that some of the other venues just couldn't get it, because it just would have been spectacular. And that's okay, because we'll just compile shit for later on, and next book tour we'll do it up that way too. I'm gonna do it my way. If you don't get it this time, maybe next year. Maybe next year you'll get it, and we'll do it up right. But I'm gonna continue to push towards doing things like that. It was unfortunate, and I say unfortunate, but it was that I had to do more bookstores than clubs, but that was fine too. I mean, all I really wanted to do is get out there and meet the people. But I also want the mood of the book and the vibe of the book to be in a place where that vibe and mood takes place. It's very cutting edge. It's very risque. It's, and I want people, boozing it up and fucking, taking off the clothes and, oh shit, well there's Mike Adams in his fucking book. And so it's kind of hard to do that shit in bookstores, especially bookstores like Borders and Barnes & Noble, all those fucking major corporate chains. They're not having it. And,
well, you know what? All the better, bro. Get kicked the fuck out, man.
Oh yeah, I don't even worry about those guys. It really isn't a concern of mine. If I'm going to have to do bookstores, I'd like to continue to do those small independent bookstores that actually have the balls to fucking carry some decent literature.
And since we're on the subject of controversial literature, I understand you got a little free press from Miss Oprah Winfrey herself.
Oh, see, that's always something that gets brought up. Her attorneys really they came down on me for fucking talking about it. But it's fine. I'll talk about it. It's fine. I don't care. Here's the thing, man. They can't, if they sue me, the most they're going to get is a fucking fish tank.
Now real quick, what the fuck was with the goddamn goat in the trunk of the car?
Well, he wanted a party. It just looked like, he looked like a lonely fucker, and he wanted a party, and I couldn't think of a better way to treat that motherfucker and take it to a full-on party that I was invited to, honestly. And I wasn't trying to hurt the guy. I did. But, those kinds of things are frowned on in society. You can't do something like that. It's,
No, man, having goats in the back of the trunk is, a lot of people, they don't know.
Well, and I think it would have been all right, but, you get fucked up, you get too fucked up driving around in the city with a drunken goat in your trunk. Yeah, man.
Wait, man, the goat was drunk?
Well, we had to feed him some, had to feed it some shit while he was there to keep him from fucking headbutting everybody.
Settle him down a little bit, huh?
Have you ever fucking tried to wrestle a goat?
I've never actually had that chance, bro.
Let me tell you something. Now, this wasn't a big guy. He wasn't a big guy at all. He was a little fucker, maybe 2.5 feet tall. And he had the fucking force of a goddamn 6'4", 280-pound man every time he fucking threw his head at you. And you try fucking grabbing one of those bitches and putting it in a trunk, man, I'd fucking challenge you. I'd challenge anybody. It took some effort. And, you take that to a party, man, that motherfucker spaz out. So you gotta feed him some shit. Keep your fucking on the down low.
I got you, brother. Real quick, that was meant to, I would love to end on that note, man, but I gotta throw one more thing in there, man. Say a little something about your band. You got a band you're working on here.
Well, I've got several bands that I'm working on. That's another aspect of my life that's fucking so much chaos. I've got new music, little project that I call Balls, and that's being worked on right now. I've also got a experimental jazz trio that's going to see the light of day, and we'll probably do a little touring maybe later next year. Gosh, it's all these things. I can't say no. I get involved in projects, and I don't even think of the time issue. I just commit to something, and hopefully it works out.
Gotcha. Well, we're gonna wrap this fucker up right now, and I'm gonna say that you gotta be the first motherfucker from Indiana who has approached me with something intelligent to fucking say.
Oh, well, nice. I appreciate that. Excellent.
Not to insult your state or nothing, man, but I get bad vibes when I cross that border, bro.
Ooh, yeah, it's just one of those things, man. This is Indiana. As much as I do enjoy living here, is a cesspool for idiots and assholes, and they're all here. And I've got a little bit of that shit in me, but I think what separates us all is that I actually get out of here from time to time. These guys fucking sit here, and I don't know, man. They're jacking off with raccoon skins, whatever else, man. That's fucked up. And I think that just, yeah. So I know what you're saying, bro, and I don't take offense to it at all.
All right, bro. Well, that was Mike Adams, author of Toilet Bowl Soup. You know, real quick, drop your contact info, your MySpace page and shit like that.
Well, you can check out everything that I do in some form or fashion by visiting toiletbowlsoup.com.